girl. Welcome back to my channel, Black Girl Goals and Things, where we talk about some of my favorite things like having girl talk, talking about therapy, talking about wellness, talking about faith, my PhD journey, and entrepreneurship. And that is what this video is going to be about today. Y'all, I am celebrating 2 years of full time entrepreneurship this month. And let me tell you, it has been one of the hardest things that I have ever had to do. I used to tell people founding my nonprofit was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done. Yep, this is topping it. It's not even topping the PhD. Actually, it is topping the PhD. The PhD is challenging, but this is topping everything right now. Everybody talks about the freedom of entrepreneurship, but few talk about the hard truths. And after 2 years as a full time entrepreneur, I want to share with y'all some things that I've learned. So, in another video, I'm going to talk about why I chose to be a social work entrepreneur. I'm not going to focus on that today because I like to keep my videos kind of like not too long, like short. And that's like if I add that and this will be like an hour long, and I don't really want that type of content. Not right now. So I'm gonna get right into it. I have 5, okay? And you guys will see I have like my notes, so I'm gonna be like doing this, and I'm looking at my notes that I have and focusing on the camera. So number one, the first lesson is customer service is key. Customers, clients, whoever you serve, whatever you call them, the way you treat them matters more than the actual product or the service. And I take great joy in delivering good customer service because I'm also a customer of something. We all are. We're consumers of things. And you know how you feel when you engage with a representative or someone that's doing a service for you or buying something from them. Like, you know how you feel when the transaction is just great, right? We don't know the type of days people are having, but when people are just kind and nice and helpful, you just feel good. And as a therapist in private practice, this has been a key thing. As I'm, having consultations with people filling me out, me filling people out to see will be a good fit, and also the other people involved that helps me make this kind of go. And one of those things, one of those people are insurance companies. No matter what you want to say about them, whatever, people have insurance, people pay for insurance, they want to use their insurance. I am an insurance provider. Like, I take insurance because of the people that I serve, they're going to need it. And so, one of the things that stuck out with me with dealing with them is that you'll hear so often, like, people have horror stories with dealing with insurance companies, whether it's like not being paid on time, contracts not right, whatever. But I would say that I have developed better customer service through dealing with them because they have something that I need, right? Like, if a payment is late, if something is up with benefits for a client or whatever, it's not just me that they're helping me be able to help who I'm serving, which is my clients, right? And you hear from other people, especially in my business, in my line of work, you hear from therapists like, oh, they're nasty, or they don't help, they don't respond, whatever. I'm taking that all in, especially when I was building my practice and I knew that I wanted to take insurance. I'm taking that all in, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to do a different approach. I'm going to have to be nice, be kind, ask them how their day is going, saying please, saying thank you, all the things. And I actually got it back in return. I don't have not one horrible insurance company story. Anything that I needed help with, like, there was one time where I didn't get paid for over 20 something claims, and I didn't catch it until I was like really looking deep into just forecasting, like financial projection, all the things, and I was like, I never got paid for this. So I called, and this woman stayed on the phone with me for like 30, 45 minutes, y'all, and we went through each claim all the different people, each thing from dates and this and that. And she got all my stuff sent out within like a week. So that taught me that like your reputation is your currency. Like people will remember what people will remember how you make them feel. And although I may never get her again every time I call, I just remember that she's representing that insurance company, right? And she gave me hope that like if I continue to be kind and nice and be who I was, of course I was frustrated. Like this is money that I missed out on, right? But I didn't give her that energy. And she matched energy with me. She was kind, she was nice, she felt horrible, and she was determined to help me figure it out. The second lesson that I learned is to work within your wheelhouse. Now, I have not just my private practice, I have my nonprofit, and I also have a coaching and consulting business that I have not talked much about, and I'll make a different video about that because that's just a different thing to talk about. But the coaching and consulting business started out as life coaching, and then it transformed into personal development, and now it's for aspiring entrepreneurs with all those other things, all those other components. But I just want to mention just that little piece because I don't want to talk too much about it. That really showed me when I had to kind of rebrand and sit and go back to the drawing board. It taught me about working within your wheelhouse and even just being a therapist, right? Same thing. You'll have people tell you being an eclectic therapist is out of style. You'll have people tell you you need to have just one niche. Like if you want to just work with people that struggle with anxiety, just do that. If you just want to work with mom, just do that, right? I say you need to work within your wheelhouse, right? Not trying to be everything to everybody, not trying to provide everything to everybody. Find the things that this is your experience, and from your experience, you build expertise. These are the things that you can help somebody with. This is within your wheelhouse. Um, and when you work within that, you're operating in your zone of genius where your business will thrive. And when I got to the point where I'm like, okay, for all of my different businesses, right, they're all connected to me because they're all connected to different parts of me. But for each one, I have a wheelhouse for them, right? Like for the coaching and consulting, I have so many things that I've done in my life that I've learned, a lot of trial and error, a lot of things that I've done out of just being bold and just faith driven that I can now share and teach somebody else, especially inspiring entrepreneurs, those who have these ideas and they're just like, I don't know what's the first thing to do. Those are my people because I remember having all these ideas. I have a bunch of books right now on my desk full of things. I remember being that person and just being like, what to do. And I've paid people to kind of like just help me do the thing, but we didn't really sit and talk it out and flush it out. And when you are a business owner and you have your brands and things like that, there's a story behind it. Remember what I said, like people are going to really buy you, right? They're buying your experience and they're buying you versus the focus is on the product or the service. They can go anywhere, all different types of places or people to probably get the thing that you are offering, but it's that know, like, and trust, right? You, the experience that you're bringing that they're buying. And so that's just like the key here, right? Working within your wheelhouse, knowing that your zone of genius is really where your business thrives. Lesson number 3, learn to say and accept no. Baby, let me tell you something. When I got comfortable with both, right? Hearing no, let's just use my therapy business for an example, like my private practice. Hearing no from a client and me having to say no, it was like an equal thing. Like I had to get comfortable because if we're honest, number one, being an entrepreneur and if you're working out of fear, you want to just take any and everything that you get, any offer, anybody that will come, because you're operating out of fear, right? But when you're operating in faith, you are making decisions differently, you're showing up differently, and so that will require you to say no and also accept no because it's a form of protection, right? You have liabilities involved. You know, boundaries is just so important with the no. I appreciate when clients are like, that's not the therapist for me, because they're self aware enough to know what they need. And also, it helps them not to waste time in their journey, you know, over time, right? Same thing for me. I'm not wasting time. That could have been a difficult case where it's just like pulling teeth, pulling teeth, pulling teeth. We're not getting anywhere, and that can cause me some issues with liability, right? Um, and just knowing that like rejection, we hear this all the time. That rejection is just redirection, right? It's not saying that you are not good at what you do. It's not saying that you will never have the clients that you need. It's really you getting comfortable with being protected. And the ways that we have to be protected may not always feel good, whether that means who we're surrounded by, the places that we used to go, the things we used to do, what we used to take in our business, what we're not changing, all of that, right? It's just that form of rejection is just really redirection. So me learning to say no and accept no has saved me a lot of headache, a lot of that gut feeling. You know how after you engage with a person, you kind of walk away like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know if this is going to be good, if this is going to work out, or I don't know if I can help them. I've had those feelings many times, especially in my practice where I'm working with a person and like working together, and I'm just and we might be doing good, right? I'm helping them, and then we get to a point where it's like maybe this is where it's time for someone else, a different expertise to step in. I'll get a feeling in my stomach like they may not like this, but I have to let them know that like this is up to the point where I can support them, and now it's time for them to have this type of approach, which is not in my wheelhouse, right? um but it's hard. It's hard when you're in a fee for service business and you are a full time entrepreneur, and this type of business means that if they don't show, you don't get paid. And so you can't start out and be operating like, let me just take any and everything. You're going to burn out. You're going to lose your love for the profession. And, um, you know, you just will start being impulsive and wanting to make all types of crazy decisions, which just takes you all over the place. But just really just what to get out of that lesson is just that it's just redirection, right? It's not rejection. It's just redirection. It's redirecting you to who you serve and how you'll serve, and really redirecting you to your wheelhouse if we want to kind of connect those. The fourth lesson that I've learned in entrepreneurship is that there are no shortcuts. There is no overnight success. I don't care what videos you watch, who's saying what on Instagram, who said they got, and they showing the money bags, the flow, the spread out. Listen, entrepreneurship, there's no overnight nothing. You are going to work. You're going to put in so much time, more time than you would have put in working for a place that you just hate. One of the things that I thought was going to be one of those, like, oh, this is just going to be overnight, whatever, I'm just going to do this, was like doing my own website. Now, when you starting out and you don't have no funding, you don't have no nothing to work with money wise, and you gotta do it from the muscle, and you gotta utilize resources that you can, or even if it's just a lower quality of something. um it took some time. Like me making my own website, it took time, and I had to kind of tweak it over time as I learned, right? As I took a little free SEO this, and I learned from other therapists, and I did my market research, and I was like you're constantly always refining and pruning, refining and pruning, as you're being refined and pruned in the process as well. But I just want to share that there's no shortcuts to this at all. You show me somebody where it's a shortcut, and I'm gonna point out how it was a shortcut. It was a shortcut because why? They probably had a lot of things up front, but just the journey in general is a lot. Like just learning business acumen, right? A lot of people don't know nothing about nothing when it comes to business. They got to learn. And a lot of times you learn by making mistakes. Sometimes it's costly mistakes, but you learn, right? And then you can go and share that and pay that forward to somebody else. But me just hustling so hard, like even when I started my practice, y'all, I was nonstop every day working on it for like 4 to 6 months. I think within 6 months, everything was like ready to go. It really didn't take me long because I was like working at it. But it was something, it was my baby, right? It was something that I wanted to work for. So it didn't like, it didn't matter to me how much time I gave to it. And still, I still give so much time to it, right? Because you have to get to a point where you're really flowing, you're balling and money, and you can have people on payroll and to delegate and do different things. And that's another story about having to pay for delegation, because at some point it will get to that point. And a lot of times for people, whether your business is ready for it or not, sometimes it's just is needed for somebody else to step in to do a thing. So that's just kind of that point, right? Like the hustle is real, but so is the reward. And the fifth lesson that entrepreneurship has taught me in these 2 years is that growing, you will grow like tough skin, like a callus. Like, you ever had callus on your feet, or saw, or you seen callus on somebody's feet? You're going to get tough skin. You're going to get criticized. You're going to get feedback. It's just inevitable. But it's how you are taking the criticism and the feedback. And I would say for me, it happened actually the actual second year. So, like this year, where somebody kind of made the comment about, like, oh, well, it seems like you're pretty eclectic. Like, that's been out of style in the last 10 years. I was like, say what? Out of style. I'm like, every therapist I done had was eclectic, and it worked out for me, right? And I was taking it personal. Like, I was just like, so what you trying to say? Like, I'm not going to hit my money goal because, like, this is what I'm like. I was having all types of things going on. And then after the conversation, I sat and I thought about it, and like I consulted with somebody else that was in private practice, and we talked about it and stuff like that. And it's true that it is out of style, and people, there is more of a push for, I'm gonna say, specialized, like a specialization. So like you'll hear a lot about people getting EMDR certified, and people are getting certified to work with moms, and it's like the paramedical, paramedical, perinatal, like certification, whatever, like that. And it's true, right? It's true that it's not booming money wise, right? Like, but in my business, that's what people come to me for, right? People come to me for what I share that's in my wheelhouse, and it's working for me. And like when I was consulting somebody about it, because I was in my feelings, I was like, this person done told me da da da, and it's hard. This journey is hard. And although what I loved about their approach was, although they're like, yeah, this is true, but if this is working for you, keep working it. And I was like, oh, okay. Because in a moment I was like getting filled with anxiety. I'm like, oh my goodness, is my business gonna come crashing down? Did I mess something up? Did I and it's not that like I don't have something that it's not, when I'm thinking about specializations, but it's hard because there is particular things that I like working with. I like working with individuals that's kind of going through like the everyday things, right? Or that there's just been stuff that's happened over the course of their lives that they're seeing it just continue to keep happening, and they don't know what to do, right? Where they're struggling with mood, they're struggling with transitions, they're struggling with trauma or interpersonal conflicts. Those are really my jam. Like, let's talk about why you keep running through friendships. Let's talk about why you can't take to leadership, right? Like, let's talk about why you have all this going on, but anxiety is just crippling you. Like those are my jam, and that's what makes me happy. Now, maybe some point down the line, I do, with my research that I'm doing as a PhD student, if there is a particular modality, like intervention, that I want to specialize in, but it's just at the time right now. But I just shared that quick story just to state how, like, I just think that each level that you go, whether it's in business or life, like, you're going to get tough skin because things are just going to be happening, and you're not going to know how to handle every single thing until you really just go through it. And with business, like, that's just what I've learned. Like, there were certain things about the first year of business that was just like smooth sailing, going great, well. And then there was moments where I literally broke down crying and didn't know what to do, right? And then there was moments in year two where I was like, I'm about to hang all this up. and be like, see, God, like, and that's another story. That's part of the social work entrepreneur video that I want to do. But there's many times this year where I was like, I'm ready just to hang this up. I'm done. This was cool. This was nice. I'm glad that I was able to be of help and support for people, but I'm done. But it was me growing tough skin, and I go through that. I just was having a moment this week, like having a moment this week about it. Like, oh, this is just one of those things. But you know, all that I would say that I learned from this was just to not take feedback personally and really ask, like, what is this teaching you? How can you take this and apply it moving forward? So, I just want to kind of wrap this up and just share that entrepreneurship isn't just about building a business, it's building yourself. You learn so much about who you are and what you're made out of, and it will push you. If you stay the course, it'll push you into your natural giving gifts and rights and things like that. But keeping in mind all that I shared, right? That I think would be helpful to you, that was mind blowing for me, and that I had to sit and reflect on since we're at the end of the year. And this was like literally the month that I hit my second year. It's just that I'm building, like, I am being refined. It's just shaping who I am, and I'm just grateful for it. Like, it's hard. You're gonna cry, have some people to call on speed dial. And I have that, like, kind of in my profession, it could be really lonely if you don't have kind of like a group practice and you have other therapists underneath you and all the things are working along with you. When it's just you have to find other people. And even if they're not in the same line of business, but they're just like a solopreneur type of thing, like getting together and meeting up and like talking really helps, because you notice that you're not by yourself and like the things that you're learning. And and coming on YouTube and watching people's experiences like mine, that can really help you. So, what I want you to do now is to drop in the comments, like, what is the biggest lesson entrepreneurship has taught you? Whether you have done it before and you kind of closed up shop and went back to work, or you're currently on the journey now. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.